Lively chat, Stevie P. Lively chat, and I know you're not in the best of moods. So, shall I just get the show on the road?
Let's go. Take your finger off your mouth.
Sorry. Here we go.
You are listening to the Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice of Radio Rossonera and Milan fans all over the world.
Rafael Leao produces a moment of utter magic.
Que sí, ¡es de gol! ¡Es de gol!
Teo Hernandez al gol! Teo Hernandez! Ancora lui! Una meraviglia! Ibrahimovic! Zlatan Ibrahimovic! Fuori classe assoluto!
Cari amici sportivi, welcome to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast, where we talk everything Milan, a Mercato or lack thereof Milan, and we're going to the World Cup, baby. Non-Milan, but and we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
Stevie P, Vinny T, faithfully here every Monday, even on a non-Serie A week, but we have a lot of things to discuss. It was the last day of Mercato. We have a new segment coming on. Stevie P, how was your week? No Milan, but first I apologize for the 49ers. I heard they weren't able to make it. They were up there, so I apologize for your team. I don't know if you smashed any tables watching your 49ers.
No, I was just very disgusted at the final minutes of that game and not happy.
Not happy. But one thing that did make us happy, Stevie P, I came in, faccio la piccola visita, I came bearing gifts. And to our friends guys, take a look, please, at Calcio England. They had promoted this book here, and Stevie P and we decided to get a couple of copies, and stay tuned Patreon, because we will do a draw for at least one of them. Guys, this is just fantastic. Let me see if I can open up. All Gazzetta kind of newspaper clippings from throughout the years. I don't know, Steve, if you had the time to go through it a little bit, but very well put. The Canadian dollar sucks, as we saw with the conversion rate, but fantastic little book here, and I couldn't recommend it enough, especially for Milan fans around the world.
Yeah, it's something that has always intrigued me. Wanted to always get those famous pink cover pages from Gazzetta dello Sport. I know digitally you can buy them too off their website, but I'd rather go through Calcio England. The book is great. It starts from the beginning, gives a history, moves on to important dates and times and front covers and a little backstory. So it is in Italian, guys. The Gazzetta dello Sport is in Italian. The book itself is in Italian. So for non-Italian Milanese fans,
Larry's saying all pictures.
Yeah, it's still worth it because it's all the pictures, right?
It's all pictures, right, guys? Look, it's all, as you could see here, right? It's great because it really jumps from one day to the other. Check them out. They didn't ask us for a plug. We're doing this on our own beautiful book, and we'll let you guys know on Patreon. Steve, before we bring on our secret guest that's in the green room, before we get to talk about Milan, bandwagoner right here. Wow, what a great weekend for Canadian soccer. Watching them play, seeing Alfonso Davies. Wow, what a true patriot right there. And it's not official, but it will be the first time, Steve. People will say, 86 would just automatically qualify because it was in Mexico, but we've been waiting this for a very long time, and I don't know if you're able to watch the game from beginning to end, but I was really it gave me some great pride to watch these kids, the Canadian kids play.
Yeah, kudos to Canada. They were doing it without their best player, obviously, and the other new signing for if I think it's Porto that player, he was coming back from COVID. I'm going to screw up his name there, and I don't want to do that because they're going to make the World Cup. But I watched it, and it was great. And again, I have to admit, they proved me wrong. I did not believe. I thought this was a run of luck, and it was going to crumble at a certain point. But we've caught Mexico and the U.S. team in probably their worst shape in the last maybe 20 years.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
They're unrecognizable. Now, Mexico, I've not been following them very closely, but I know that they're having trouble with their coach, and that's never a good thing in Mexico, because if there's anybody worse than Italians, it's Mexicans in terms of how they destroy their coach. But the U.S. team yesterday sucked. They were terrible.
Yes, Larry. Sorry, Larry. Yeah, they were really bad.
Yeah, I'm going to be as honest as I always am. There's no excuse. There's always an excuse for the States. Oh, but we're dressing our young team. I don't care that you're dressing your young team. That's not my problem. I saw some tweets, and we almost got caught by one of them, where the field was too narrow. Yes, it was narrow, but those are all things that are taken care of before they say yes to the game. Artificial turf too. I'm not a big fan of that. I think if we want to become serious as a Canadian soccer powerhouse, we need to get some grass fields. We're not playing on turf anymore. Those days are over. But the team itself, and again, showing real, true patriotism and caring about the team. Alphonso Davies doesn't need to watch this Canada game, if he really doesn't want to watch this Canada game.
That is true.
He's come. His level is at that point, but he not only watched both games, he streamed live on Twitch, tried to get everybody more involved and a new avenue to watch games. I think he was watching it with his dad. That's fantastic. That's amazing. And he's realizing that his dream is gonna come true, and he's gonna make it to the World Cup with Canada.
And that joy was not fake. It was just like, it really felt good, and even getting goosebumps from here. And Steve, there was a great segue into that, because we've seen the tweets about explaining why Canada won. And yes, guys, you see busted cultural takes. You guys were gonna get into it, and before we get into it, we wanted to introduce Steve. Explain why we decided to go with our friend here, fellow Milan Club Montreal admin, Yann. Yann is a bit of a, come si dice, pot to stir on the internets. I hear he's got his own comments, and this idea came from looking at all these different types of people. Welcome, Yann. Some people might know, maybe you've blocked him on Twitter. We're not sure, but Steve, who better than having Yann with us here?
Yeah, so me and Yann go at it with the other guys in the Fanta Calcio chat there. I got Yann's back. Yann has my back. That's the way we roll. And at least we're putting someone on who's well spoken, who makes some logical sense in this crazy world of Twitter. And he's done a great job. So we say correspondent, but Yann's going to be joining us, so he has homework to do.
Yes,
like an intern. I'm an intern.
Yeah, an intern. But we're watching, guys. We're watching these busted culture. It's too much for just two people, even three people with the Presidente having a look there. So we're going to ask everybody to submit their busted culture tweets from here on out.
Like something that's like you're just scratching your head. Well, we're gonna get into it after. We're gonna show a couple of them and show you guys what we're trying to do and have a bit of fun, right? Before we get into that, gentlemen, it was the last day of the Mercato today. We joked around with the thumbnail, here's my Amazon wish list, and here's what you actually get from Wish. I'm gonna start off with well, you know what? Let me start off with you, Yann. Let me ask you guys first this. Did you expect any signings today?
No. I mean, if you go by what was circulated on Bird app on Twitter over there, Milan's market was done on Saturday, I think, from what we read. Now, I'm not one to take a lot of stock into what is said by these, a lot of these accounts that tweet what's happening, who we're after, all these things. But I kind of believed it just because you saw how slow it was. I mean, it looked like they were content once we signed that kid from Stella Belgrade. I forget where he's from. Where's that team play again?
And the
Bucharest,
something like that.
Belgrade. I don't know. I don't even know where.
This is where you ask the comment section. They'll
Yeah, I
answer
don't know.
us.
I don't know anything about him. All I know is that he's supposedly Vlahovic, but 3 years younger. So we'll see how that turns out. But ever since that signing, it kind of looked like it slowed down. And yeah, I believed it was over
Serbia,
Saturday. Yeah, from Serbia. Thanks. So, yeah.
Steve, how about you? Like when we saw the Renato Sanchez that we made a move, I think it was put pen to paper even from maybe several weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, that we ain't gonna do anything. And maybe your thoughts on the absolutely, even not even Samu we could get rid of, and trying to get him out on the loan. We're gonna get into that one too. But Steve, your feelings on today?
The Mercato is a failure, guys. The Mercato is an absolute failure. And again, it's not just today. It's not just the winter Mercato. It's every single time we need to address something, we have not addressed it. So I know I didn't react. I didn't respond. I waited for a Milan Weekly Podcast because it's very hard to express your feelings in 140 characters. I understand the project. I believe in the project. I really do. If this was year one of the project and we're sitting in second place, a couple of points behind Inter, I would say, you know what? Okay. But that happened last year, guys. Last year, we were sitting a couple of points behind Inter, didn't make the necessary purchases that we had to make to strengthen the team. And I'm not saying, guys, go here and go buy 40, 50, 60, $70 million players. But if you're going to address the young striker position, which you made a mistake, they admitted with Pellegrini that they made a mistake. With someone else young that we have to groom and figure out, well, let's start with the right-hand side too. Let's start with the center attacking midfielder. Let's try to bring in some protection for the center back. It's the wrong message. However, everybody in Italian, English, French, whatever language you speak, this Mercato is the wrong message for the fans. I know financially, it may or not make sense to everybody, but for me as a fan, this Mercato for us, guys, is a complete failure.
Speaking, we got some comments here, and you're saying, like, from last year, we're in the same position. And I was thinking about this, and I wanted to get you guys' thoughts of the word overachieving has come out very often on this podcast and from Milan fans. And I try to think about, is it us Milan fans that our expectations are too high for this team that basically never came out, Elliot especially, never came out and said, we're going to buy him, we're going to go for a Scudetto? Is it us? Yann, I'm going to ask you, is it maybe Milan fans that are, guys, I don't know what you guys were expecting now. I don't want to talk about, this summer Botman's going to get there. Is it just us over-expecting something from a society that never really, this is not Yohong Lee with 200 million, for players. They never said anything like that. And they're, in so many words, they had told us, we got to balance the books. Gazidis got so much heat at the beginning, right, for balancing the books, not spending money. And all of a sudden, when top four, is this because, is it the fans the problem, or is it the clarity from management?
I think fans have I understand what Steve is saying, and it is a failure on many marks, and it's been like that 2 winter markets in a row that we haven't done anything. 2 Mercatos, we've done nothing. Our fans expecting something more, of course, because they know the history of Milan, they know what is to be expected. So it's normal for a fan to expect that. Is it realistic? No. I think what we're seeing is, and I think Presidente says it often, it's someone that they have something and they want to prop it up, clean up its debt, make the fence look good, flip a house. They want to flip a house, basically. And they're not going to do that by signing these big contracts and going after these questionable deals, even though for us and as fans, we look at these deals and we're like, well, why couldn't we get that guy for 5 million? Why couldn't we get the Zakaria, the deal that Juve got today for Milan? He would have been a nice replacement for Kessie right now. No, we can't do that. So there's something more beyond that we won't understand, but it's, we're going to be angry and we're going to create undesired expectations. But if we know anything about Milan, they don't look at Twitter, because fans have been screaming for a right wing for a year and a half. They haven't bought one. So they don't listen to us. And I think that's the way they're just trying to clean up the assets. And Elliott won't be around for much longer, I think,
Do you think, Steve, that, on what Yann is saying, the team finishing in the top 4 last year and the team somewhat, still battling for a top 4 spot, is that just a consequence of, to them, it's like, well, we weren't expected to do this. To us, we want to clean the books, build, and all of a sudden we're, finishing top 4. Do you think it's the fans over expecting?
I'm fed up with this bullshit. This is bullshit. You cannot expect. You're not going to start the season and say I'm going to finish top 4. You're going to say your goal is top 4. Last year they finished second, far away from Inter. Again, it's like I'm repeating myself over and over. I see President and I hear his comments and I think I don't want to hear that anymore as a fan. I don't want to hear that sustainable project. Put me another star. Put me another star on my screen.
I have to interrupt here. What is a game for Elliott right now to invest 50, 60 million to win Serie A that's going to give them, 30, 40 million? If Milan was an EPL team in the same situation, I think you see a different Elliott, because they see a bigger pot that could be won. What's their, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here, but what's Elliott's reasoning to spend that money?
It's exactly what they bought Milan for. They want to flip, but Milan is only sellable if they continue to make Champions League and they bring in attractive players. We're not right now. This Mercato could potentially take us outside of Champions League.
That's true.
Yep.
Then we're not attractable anymore. So the sustainable project is never going to get sustainable.
And look at those clubs that have gone in and out of Champions League, a la Lazio. They can't make those moves. And it goes back to, I wanted to bring another point here. Inter, when they first made Champions League the first year, what did they buy in the Winter Mercato?
Nobody.
Exactly. This is our first Winter Mercato of making Champions League.
But they went and took every loan. They took every player possible that could be given to them for them to make it. We didn't need to do that, and that's fine. But then your project goes and it moves on. And your project becomes, let's be sustainable. Let's make sure we're in the top 4. I'm okay with that. But now, without doing any moves and without addressing in the summer Mercato, in the winter Mercato, areas where you obviously need help to at least sustain and keep the top 4 spot, everybody else around you moved and did something, and you, Milan, did nothing. We bought someone from Cork. Jesus fucking Christ, guys. I have nothing against the kid. He's for La Primavera. I get it. But these are not the signings that a Milan needs and wants to be taken seriously to go from second and go to win U Campionato. Do they understand? Do they understand? And especially what pisses me off is Maldini sits in management. As much as I understand the management role, as a Milanista, as someone who watches and has been watching for many years, man, is it gonna burn me when they put that second star on that ugly Bull jersey. It's gonna burn, guys. And the only people we have to blame is going to be ourselves. Because we didn't do enough. We were close and we didn't do enough.
Speaking of finances, and I get we're, Elliott and saving money, but then devil's advocate, as you said, Yann. So explain to me how a team is in shambles money-wise, whether it be Inter or Juventus, being able to get it done and getting, 70 million from fucking Bentancur and Kulusevski. I'm trying to comprehend, but they still got it done. So there's the argument that you want to save money and balance the books. Okay, we don't have $40-50 million players, so I just don't understand how, yes, Inter got reinforcements, Juventus got reinforcements. People are talking about, Juve turned the tide, and they're going to be top contenders again. And people are jizzing all over themselves for Vlahovic, but I think I freaked out more of getting 70 million euros from fucking Kulusevski and Bentancur. How does that even?
30% of Betancourt has to go to Boca Juniors, so it's a bit less there. And Kulusevski, it's on. There's certain conditions, and it's a loan with conditions, but it's to make Champions League, I think. So,
and my cousin Johnny was commenting. Steve was saying, it's like even the frustration from like, okay, everybody's in shambles monetary, but we're the only ones not spending.
Well, they were spending what, $60-70 million a year on Ronaldo. Ronaldo left. They spent that money on one player, right? Vlahovic, they have to pay over 2 years. And for some reason, miraculously, they sold 2 guys to one team that their ex-director works for and their ex-coach works for. So, I mean, and in the same year that they've been investigated for fraudulent transfers. They just don't care.
It's the system that's broken.
It's the system that's broken, but Steve, you said it before, just like PSG. Juve has smart accountants working for them. I'm sure it's all legit. To us, so we don't know.
To be legit, guys, this is legit. If Patrick and Conte are stupid enough to spend that money, and someone at Tottenham signs the check, well, Juve is not, And you know what, Vinny? I heard it the whole week. Everybody, you know what? Juve is jizzing on themselves. You know what? If I would be a Milan fan and I would have done those signings, I would have been jizzing on myself too.
OnlyFans opens tomorrow for you.
Let's not call a spade a spade. Let's be honest with ourselves. I'm jealous, guys. I'm jealous. That striker should be wearing my jersey. If my project was supposed to go the way it's supposed to go, that striker is supposed to be wearing. Is it a good fit for Juve? I don't know. Is it a good fit for Milan? I don't know. Would I have spent that kind of money? Probably not. But back in the day, that's the player that would have ended up on our team. Look in the book. You see Ronaldinho, you see Robinho, you see Kaká, you see Pato. I get it was a different time. But guys, now here we're not even addressing the areas of concern in the Mercato. This is a fail. It's going to be the first time in how many years we do Milan Weekly Podcast. I'm ashamed to say that it's a complete failure. Because they didn't even publicity-wise, they didn't do it right.
They didn't care.
Because publicity-wise, I don't know. Fucking sign Theo's contract now.
Well,
do a big thing about Theo.
I hate this thing. We're basically turning into Arsenal. Arsenal has no fucking history. We're never going to be Arsenal. We're not going to be Arsenal. We're not going to be Arsenal. We have too much to be. We're not Arsenal.
We're not Arsenal, but Yann, you have to say this is the way Arsenal works. Now, someone told me, you know what? Oh, they spend $100 million. I get it, but they're in the English Premier League. $100 million in the English Premier League.
That's it.
And that $30 million that we spent is almost the same thing.
Conte and Paratici, they spent $70 million, but they were shopping like U.S. shoppers that come here on Boxing Day.
They wanted to buy everybody. They got rejected. They got rejected. They wanted
$70 million for an EPL team is what really? 40,
nothing,
30, 50.
Nothing.
It's nothing.
Zero.
It makes so much money. It's nothing to buy those 2 players.
So even the question comes back to, like you were saying last week, the player wants the team. Is it because maybe players don't want to come?
Fuck, the player wants the team. I'm fed up of hearing this stupidity.
Steve,
the player wants money. He wants money.
Vlahovic had gotten sold to another team, and io voglio la Juve, and they had to fucking accommodate him. Was it not?
You have to understand the negotiation portion of this.
Yeah.
He's going to go to the English Premier League. He's not playing Champions League. He's not even close to Champions League. His $7 million, once he makes Champions League and plays Champions League this year, because if I'm not mistaken, he can play.
Yeah.
The bonus from there will take him pretty much to the same amount. Let's be honest with ourselves, guys. It's not io voglio Juve. He understands where Juve is going. He doesn't understand where Tottenham's going. That's where the money is. It's the full package. It's like I see these people on Twitter. There's 1,000 busted tweets. No one would take less money. It's fucking dumb.
Look at Samu Castillo. Sam's not going to
That's
take
a
less
perfect
money
example right
He
there.
Sam's
doesn't
not
want to.
leaving.
He doesn't want to go to Samp and do what at Samp? I'm gonna sit at
To
Milan.
go play for a coach that did what for his career? What did Gianpaolo do for any of the guys that he
Nothing.
coached at Milan?
Nothing. So Vlahovic and the people that take care of him are actually pretty smart.
Yeah, he's
and
good
do
agents.
the calculations.
Good agents.
They're good agents. It's not. This is the show. This is the mirage that they want you to say. Oh, you voglio Juve. No kidding, you voglio Juve. There's calculations behind there. No one's gonna say nothing to. No one's gonna say no to 30 million. If Tottenham gives him 30 million and he says no, wow.
The system is broken, as you were saying. Just too many things you don't understand.
It's only
made 18 million on the Juve deal. Vlahovic's agents.
They negotiated it down to 11.
To
The
11,
whole
okay.
thing cost them 130, 140 million, which we don't have that money, and I get it.
We have our own stadium. We don't constantly try to qualify for Champions League.
We're behind. We're behind in our project.
Looking no signings. Looking at our next 5 games, this Saturday at noon we will be at Ciociaro. It is open. I will be there.
Me too.
There we go, Yann. So we have Inter, we have Lazio in the Coppa Italia, then to Sampdoria, Salernitana, Udinese. I think Saturday is going to be a make or break for me. I think with the game in hand, if they end up with the 3 points, I think the battling for first spot, I think that's over. But they need to turn the corner on this one here. Steve, looking at these next upcoming games, trying to put that first.
The derby game doesn't count.
Why
Of
you say
all
that?
these other games, it doesn't count. It's a special one. They could have bought 700 new players. The derby is the derby. You go there, they show up, and both teams go at it and leave everything on the field. Anything could happen. That's my frustration, guys. This is exactly that. Is that we're so close, and we also have a derby to play, which we know that, you know what? It's even better that Milan go in as the underdog, as the one who's never going to win this game. Because as derbies go, we end up winning the fucking game. And now if you win this game, there's no problems anymore. We have no problems, people. We're going to be okay until we show up at Sampdoria and draw. This is my frustration, guys. It's so close. I've spent so much time on this podcast making fun of Napoli, Roma, Lazio for not taking advantage of the window. And now my team took the exact same path and did nothing to strengthen themselves to go for it. Just go for it. I have no words. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm done. I don't know.
We need full points here, Yann. There's no if you need to contend, especially with Juve, with the reinforcements. Inter getting better. Did Lazio get reinforced? They got rid of No, didn't get anybody. But
Lazio, if anything, they probably send players to other teams to make them worse.
But you need other than the Coppa Italia game, you need those 12 points.
Oh, there's no denying you need those 12 points. Now against Inter, hey man, this team has proven me wrong time and time again. So,
but even a draw, is fine
Steve,
at this point.
I'm with Steve. Let's say we beat Inter. Let's say we win Coppa Italia against Lazio. We can easily lose the next 3 games. This team is missing too many pieces right now due to injury. The club didn't do anything to reinforce, and you have Pioli over there that's like with the duct tape trying to just patch everything up, and a fan base that's rabid. We're going crazy. So mix that all together. I don't know. These guys, they should throw their phones away. Maybe not check Twitter for a couple of weeks, and they'll
but
have
I think
a better
Steve makes a good
this
point to whether we win or you have a good result. Don't take away the fact that we still have problems. And like I said, look at the 2 games they lost back to back. Typical Milan that we could see could come out with a big win and then go to Sampdoria and lay an egg. So let's not take away, from the focus. This team needs to be reinforced. Some people want to believe that, the summer Mercato. I know Di Marzio had an article trying to explain why Milan hasn't spent money. I don't know if it's just trying to.
No one knows nothing.
Reason.
I'm done with these guys on Di Marzio and all these guys. They know nothing. It's all.
Where's Tomori, our other center back? Those guys don't know the teams the injuries over here. He's talking about who's missing besides Chiara. At least look at the team list. Not the kind of fuck.
They don't know.
Got some good Patreon questions, and we'll go to Twitter. Then we'll introduce our segment. Fabio saying, "Hey boys, no real questions. Just wanted to express how disappointing it is to feel like our club is close to being a serious competitor again, but our budget keeps us from taking the next step. We must create diamonds from castaways and projects, while our rivals are buying game changers. I pray our club finds a real owner and Italy gets their shit together. All the best and always Forza Milan." From Fabio from Long Island. What else do we have here? Gio saying, "Big up Vinny and Steve. Congrats on Canada having one foot in the door for World Cup 2022. Time to push them to remain in top four since we didn't strengthen this Mercato. Can't wait for the derby on Saturday. Cheers. P.S. Bring me Debo for the right wing. He would bully any Serie A defender." Debo had a good performance there, but Gio trying to stay, he's always the cheerleader, trying to stay positive, but always thinking about this Saturday. A question from Gillis: "Hey guys, do you think that Kessie's display?" I like this question. "Do you think Kessie's display at center attacking midfield before he left for AFCON and Kalulu's performance in the January as center back changed Milan's winter Mercato objectives?"
I mean, if they're going to give us an excuse, that's a perfect one. It's well thought out. I mean, yeah, they did look good in those games. That would make sense, Gillis. But I mean, is it a reason not to? No, we should have still got players, man. Like Steve said, like you want to be with the big boys. You want to, you see your rivals reinforcing. You just sit there and do nothing. I want to eat my words. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I want them to go on a run and win every game.
Yeah, be wrong. But even a profile that we've talked about, even in the summer, we didn't get it. We couldn't get along with Brest, the team that was making the transaction. But someone like Favre, where we were missing small details, where okay, they were pissed off the way we negotiated. That's fine. I don't care. But at a certain point, it seems like they just wanted their 15 million. Now, 15 million to us normal people is a shit ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
To a team that, can address an area of weakness, let's be honest, with 15 million, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good deal. At cheap. We're making a habit of signing these players from the Ligue 1. I have no problem with that as long as they do well for my Milan. I don't care where they come from. But this could have been easily a little bit of a, hey, we're going to fix this side. There we have a problem. Now, they're going to say, and I know already, we couldn't get rid of Samu Castudeo, and that's going to be what broke the bank. I'm sorry there, guys. I'm done with these excuses. 15 million to address someone that you wanted in the summer. You can get him now in the winter. You're not going to do that transaction. So these are the things where I call bullshit.
How much did he sign for? Who did he go?
How much?
15 million.
For, I think, $3 million a contract.
Not on the same team. I think he signed for another team, no?
He signed with Lyon.
Signed with Lyon, that's it. What else do we have? Fabio, can someone explain why we can't get rid of Samu? He's like a squatter at your house. You can't kick out. Give him a gift basket and send his ass away. Give me a fucking right wing. Fabio just doesn't like questions.
He's right. But it's his right, man. It's his right. He has that contract. Some stupid idiot at Milan gave him that contract after seeing him play. If I got that contract and I was as bad as he is in the context of professional soccer players, he's obviously way better than me, I would sit on my ass too. Live in a city like Milan, a city that I supposedly loved as a kid. Wear that shirt every day, train on the same grounds as my idols. I'm not leaving. Listen, to go play where? Sampdoria for a mezzo pasto over there that plays. No.
It's just like when WCW died and Hogan and Hall and Nash, they didn't sign with WCW because they got paid for a year and a half to stay home. Same exact principle.
Exactly.
And then Derek just gives us 4 questions back to back. He's like, when looking at the remaining schedule, I'd be foolish to not think our management thinks we can make top 4 with the rosters are as constructed. Thoughts? Management's got to believe, right?
Of course they have to.
Because that's the only thing we have left is belief and hope. Because, I don't know if we're going to overperform as we did last year. We had more points last year at this date that I know. Steve, do you think management still perceives with we don't even have that question.
Right now, they believe. And I believe too. I believe this team can make top 4. What I'm angry about is why we made it so difficult on ourselves. Why? Why did we not address and fight fire with fire? We're in a better shape than those other teams purchasing people. I'm not saying make a $130 million purchase. I'm not saying make a $25 million purchase. But I'm saying identify areas where you're at weakness and at risk, which I'm going to say the center back is at risk. And at the striker position, we are one injury away, and we know what we're talking about, to have a lot of trouble scoring goals.
On a side note, guys, do you think the frustration would be at the same level? Let's just say we would have had 3 more points and no injuries. No injuries whatsoever, like everything's going fine. Do you think, Steve, like, the right wing, you think the level of frustration would be at the same level?
When a team like
100%.
Inter, who's already deeper than us, goes and get fucking Gosens for what, 23 million paid over 14 installments. I love it. Like, are you fucking like what?
Yeah.
That team is already good. Now they're going to be good. I thought they weren't going to be good for 5 years. I'm going to eat my words on that too now. It's like, there was a friend of mine that's like, oh, they're going to have a dominance like Juve. I'm like, no, Inter's not that good. But you go and sign a guy like Gosens for 23 million. I'm sorry.
And that's a
They didn't
great
need him.
that's a great point.
They didn't
That's
need
another
him.
reason.
They didn't need him.
They didn't need him. They didn't need him, but they took him as insurance. And they think he's an upgrade on, whoever their backs are right now. Pick, Darmian, Dumfries.
There's on the other side, yeah.
There's
DeMarco.
DeMarco. Wherever you want to play them. Wherever you want to play them, how you want to play them.
A great deal for them. I hate to say
And
it.
again, you bring up a good point. That's even more frustration. Because the team at the top who won the Scudetto last year lost 2 of their best players, and we're closer, but we still not at the level of Inter and where we're at in our project.
Derek says, who's the one player you all 3 of us feel needs to step up in order to maintain top 4? I've mentioned Diaz the last couple of times. I know we like to shit some
Giroud will be missing fucking headers.
Giroud can be missing headers. I'm gonna go with Diaz because to me, after that COVID, we need that guy that's gonna. I don't know. I just don't recognize him anymore. I would need him to step up.
Diaz is not going to be playing. If Frank Kessie, if Pioli goes with Frank Kessie as the trequartista, you'll very rarely see Diaz back on the pitch and just subbing him in. And you know what? I have no problem with that because at this point here, I have no ill will against anybody on the team, but put me the best fucking 11 that you have and let's go and let's secure top 4. I don't want to wait till the last day.
Yeah, but we need our striker. Look, Ibra's been
bad, terrible.
Yeah. Giroud started off great against Juve. He could have won us the game twice. That's what he was brought for. I need him to step up, like big time.
So for you, Giroud, Steve, do you agree with Giroud?
For me, so we need some miracle on the right hand side. So I don't know if it's Salchicha Maker or Macias. Someone has to be a steady right winger for here on out. As much as going to hate me, that's our area of weakness. And then it's the middle. It's whatever combination they use, Tonali, Benacer, and Kessie. Any combination there. Outside of Bakayokoko, I don't want to see Bakayokoko anymore unless I really have to. As killing the game off. And not even that. I'd probably bring on Krunic before him. Any combination of those guys are going to be key from here on out. And then how Pioli decides to use Leao and Rebic on that left-hand side so that we have the freshest person on all the time.
And it says, do you think the pitch at San Siro is fertile enough for Pomodoro or just the patate? When will this pitch be fixed permanently? Yeah, so $400,000 they're investing in this pitch. Hopefully it is.
Why? Are they building a new stadium? The hell they need it?
By the time we build a new stadium, Yann.
Yeah.
That's a bit on Serie A.
That's our summer Mercato just gone right there.
The pitch disaster. The pitch disaster is a bit on Serie A. Scheduling home game for Inter and Milan the same week. So that didn't do it any favors. It can barely take one game per week, let alone two.
Yeah, but these comunes that are holding us ransom with the rent that we have to pay, you can't upkeep your freaking grounds. What's going on here?
Yeah, this is one of the many issues in Italy where it's impossible. If Milan would be playing, if Milan would be Miami something AC Miami Milan, we would have had a new stadium last year. We were talking about it last week. SoFi in LA was built during a pandemic.
And David asks us, let's say a miracle happens and Elliot says to Maldini, here, I'm giving you 75 million to acquire talent. What would you guys do? Go all in on an established superstar or get two mid-carders? Would you get that superstar of 75 or would you get those two players, or any ideas of what kind of players?
Do you want to go first?
30 and 35, I fix your right wing and I fix your center attacking midfield.
I'm with you on that one.
If the reports are supposed to be true, because I know people hold what they read on Twitter as gospel, we're supposed to be signing Botman and Sanchez and David, right? So that's going to be 100 million right there. I mean, that would fix everything. 70 million, I would still just go like center back and a right wing. That's, I think, the most glaring needs on this team.
And ask Vinny and Steve on the Twitter machine, what do we got here? When are we going to compete for Serie A? How many cases, Vlahovic, Barellas we're going to watch? Go realize we're doing something wrong. Pellegri's and Messias's won't take you to the next level, are they? That's what we've been discussing throughout this whole conversation. Concord at concord.it. Gigi Lapatat, what is he saying? Do you think with the recent fail? Oh, that's no. Hold on a second. Latest. Oh, I'm not on latest. Sorry, guys. Now I'm on latest. Milan Weekly Pod. Elliot doesn't know who's this from. From Let It Loose, Mikey. Doesn't know much about football. This is twice back-to-back genuine chances to go for the Scudetto, and we blew it by being so stingy. Don't want to be a downer, but we'll miss on top four. On paper, we're average. Pioli deserves a lot of credit. Comments on that, guys? Pioli does deserve a lot of credit?
Of course. He's working with half a leg. Of course he deserves credit. I just don't. I mean, I don't know. Like, this team was not. It would have to have been a monumental January Mercato to make this team a Scudetto team. To me, I've never been convinced it was a Scudetto team. I can always dream that we win it every year, but objectively speaking, I mean, once Inter gets Gosens, I mean, you really got to start upping your game at that point. I mean, there was no way we were going to catch up to them.
Yeah.
We're losing games to Spezia. The way we lost the game to Spezia is not the way a team is going to win a championship. I don't care what reinforcements you bring. This team was not ready to win a championship.
No, I have to disagree. And I'm not saying the winter Mercato. I'm talking before that. I'm saying they didn't address their areas of weakness in the summer. And if you finish second place, you know, however many points we were away from Inter last year.
11?
I think so.
11 points? I could have picked 11 games last year where we could have used someone to help us win those points. And there goes, and your Scudetto race becomes a race. Now you start this season, and again you're taking the lead. Again, you lose the lead. Again, you reach January transfer window, and again, you don't address your areas of weakness. That's how a team doesn't win a Scudetto. Everybody's saying, you know, I see the Italian press. So troppo giovane. How long are we going to be too young for? Like, if we're going for another 5-6 years, we're going to use that excuse. That's good for a couple of years. Okay. And now, you know, they're saying il progetto. This is the beautiful new thing. Il progetto. I get it. But the project, at a certain point, sustainability is understandable. I get it, from a hedge fund kind of thing. But at a certain point, the fans are not stupid. The fans will turn. And the fans started. They started. There's some that are not happy. And again, am I being a dreamer when I say this? Maybe I am. But for me, this was so important, guys, for the mentality of Milan now and for the future. Doppio scudetto all'Inter, solo sul tavolino.
Hmm.
And now we're going to see it in real life, guys. And there's nothing we can do about it. Those are things that hurt. And those are things that they're going to make us remember. So it was a year for them to say, Paulo needs to talk with the singers sometimes and say, look, I've been through this. This is different than a boardroom. It's not a boardroom anymore. It becomes two cousins in one city. And if one starts taking the lead on the other, it's bad for the brand. It's bad for our brand. Our brand has suffered enough.
Forza Domi saying, regardless of transfer market, top 4 in Champions League is the goal this season. If Milan miss top 4, does Pioli leave? And if he leaves, who would you like to see come in? Italiano or Juric have any buyback clauses? You know what? If a guy like Pioli leaves, and if we don't do that, and if we keep the same players, I don't think anybody else out there, I'm not saying not anybody else, but what he's done with these kids, even the comments from Theo Hernandez. But do you think he would leave? I don't think he would leave if they don't make top 4.
Just send it an extension, no?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, not that means that he won't leave, but I don't
No.
see that he would. Why would he leave?
It's
Where
not
is he
him who's
go?
going to leave. They're gonna move on from him.
You
At a
think
certain
that's-
point, we're moving on from him.
Yeah.
And if we don't
I
make top
know.
4, we don't make top 4. I think
Oh, he's
maybe
fired,
cost-wise, they won't move on from him, and I don't think they should. I think continuity is good, but Serie A is famous for that. It's what have you done for me lately? And his job, his mandate, again, il progetto is top 4. If he doesn't make top 4, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him anymore. Is it the right move? I don't think so. Can it be possible? Absolutely.
This is a throwaway saying, since we signed the Serbian kid, do you think that Colombo will be sold in the summer? Also, if we are focusing so much on Primavera signings, why has the Primavera struggled so much in recent years? But Colombo's on. Do you think they would sell these kind of players? Is it another Patania situation where never gets any playing time and had a couple of good highlights?
Full Valenza.
Yeah. I like Colombo. I see what he's doing this year. He's been scoring some goals. But I guess, I don't know if they're really in on another striker and Ibra's really coming back and they signed this Serbian kid. But I mean, how many strikers are you going to have, right?
Definitely. What else do we have here? If everyone from at Diavolo nel Duomo, if everyone can see and talk about our weaknesses, why isn't our management doing anything about it? Or are we the fans delusional then? What do you think are the real issues with how we handled this Mercato? We've definitely spoke about that at the beginning at Diavolo nel Duomo. Describe this January with a meme. Gigi La Patata. I think this one who replied back to you on this one? Yes, some good memes on those ones. And I think that is it. Sempre Milanista. And when will people take Stevie P's advice and manage their expectations? We are in a delicate moment at our project and cannot shell out cash like our rivals yet. When we get to that point, everyone better watch out for us. Forza Milan, Forza Vinny and Steve from at Sempre Milanista. So I was managing the expectations. And speaking of memes, let's try to actually before we introduce this, let's have some fun. Any last comments on this Mercato? Because I don't want to talk about Mercato until we get into the summertime. I know we're frustrated, but anything to say before we move on? Steve?
It's just not good enough.
Yeah, not good enough, but look, I want to be wrong, but it's not good enough.
Let's start one game at a time. Let's start this Saturday and let's take those snakes out. Let's get those 3 points. Now, throughout, you guys, Twitter, mostly Twitter, right? Some people on Facebook as well, but mostly Twitter. Sometimes, people have opinions. And unfortunately, people cannot put out their opinions without people commenting from the peanut gallery. And now opinion has become fact. So I know, Yann, you have fun with some of these takes, and we are calling it the busted calcio takes. So I know this idea was from the brain of Presidente.
Busted calcio tweets.
Tweets, sorry, because it says busted calcio takes on the slide. So busted calcio tweets. We're gonna hashtag those ones there. So, do you want me to pull up these slides right away, or tell us? Do you enjoy like bickering back and forth?
It's not so much the bickering. It's mostly it's just sometimes like my girlfriend tells me, like, just why don't you just shut up sometimes? So I just don't shut up. So sometimes like I see something and I have to make a comment, but I always try not to make it personal, and it's all in good fun. I've had bad takes and people call me out on them. So and just for anyone that's not from Montreal and doesn't understand the term busted, that's usually what we call our friends when they're a bit stupid and they're saying something that doesn't make too much sense. You're a bit busted. So that's basically where the name came from, and yeah, it's fun. I mean, I don't think we're going to be staying away from anything Milan related either. There's plenty of content from Milan.
Plenty.
I think we're going to be like,
Plenty.
okay, we have like these 20, 30 of them, and let's see which ones are the good ones. I'm going to start you off with the first busted Calcio tweets. What do you have here, Yann? So this is from.
I noticed it's Mallorca. So Mallorca signed Jerry Mancini's favorite striker of all time, Muriqi. And they made a whole promotional video for this.
It's like
guy.
a movie, though. Huh?
It's like a movie. Like, it was wild. The guy's playing PlayStation. He's trying to set up his team. I play a lot of FIFA. I would never, out of any, just to go sign Vedak Muriqi on my team. I'm why? And then they do this whole thing. The guy has one Serie A goal in his career. Like, you're promoting something that an entire fan base has wanted him gone by the third month he was in the team. So I just found it funny. I thought it was like, it's pretty busted.
They're hyping up. Like hyping something.
I guess that's all you can do with a signing like that, right? So
yeah, but that's a huge waste of money.
For Muriqi.
Like the PlayStation is terrible.
Next one, what do we have on Busted Calcio tweets here? So at the Lupo is Roma, who put this one is saying, okay, so we'll qualify for Champions League next season then. So
his undying optimism when faced with other shit is just amazing from this account. He is so positive and holds Roma at such high esteem. How the fuck is Roma making Champions League next year? Can someone answer me that?
He's got hope.
Is he watching the same team that we're watching?
No.
An antiquated coach who doesn't know what he's doing. I would love to have a beer with Jose Mourinho. Have a pizza with him. Seems like an awesome guy. What new things has he invented in soccer? What has he done as far as tactically in soccer the last 5-6 years? Okay, he won a Europa League. Fine. Yeah. Spends quite a bit. Roma spent the most last summer. I don't know if you said that team.
Yeah.
To be where? 8th right now? Sure, you'll make Champions League. Sure.
Champions League. Steve, any comments on this one?
I'm pretty sure Lupo will be a very strong figure in Busted Culture.
Hopefully, everybody's loving these. Like, we can make another podcast. But Steve, if it does occur, maybe you can call your friend the Juventus fan. I know that his voice is a bit of a popular thing on YouTube. You're getting some comments. So at Sousa Deli 08, I got the message Milan sent to me as a fan in this transfer window, telling me to think small club minded rather than big. Yann?
I mean, fine. You're jilted. You're upset. You don't see what Milan is doing. But you've been what? How long have you been a Milan fan? This guy looks pretty young. You spent 10 years of banter to now think that this team is small.
I guess we had an owner default.
Yeah,
we had an owner.
Now
default.
It's enough. We're top 4, and now I can't take it anymore. Now it's that's enough.
This is the one that I found, and this is the one that I was like, wow, I'm negative, but this guy he took the trophy.
Sousa, ask YouTube to give you some Honda corners and tell me what that team looked like back in the day. What else do we have here? At Andres Cordero, abolished the winter transfer window. This is on what, a cancel culture? Andres is from no. What is this?
This is from Paramount Plus itself. Serie A rights reserved in the United States. Abolish the winter transfer window.
Nice.
From remembering, I don't know him personally, and I just found this was just hilarious. They didn't have a problem, and I think he's I'm not going to confirm here. I'm going to go out on the ledge. I think he's a Barcelona fan, loves La Liga. La Liga's the best. La Liga was the best on beIN Sports. No one is better than La Liga. They didn't want to close the winter transfer when Barca was buying everybody. But now, let's close the winter transfer. The winter transfer, guys, if people, I don't understand. Verified, not verified. Mercato, summer, winter is the best. It's like a telenovela of all telenovelas. Every language, EPL, Spanish, soccer, it's what makes it different than North American sports. And for how screwed up these transfer windows are, and the imagination of people creating content on social media, abolishing the winter transfer window would be a crime.
Especially because it puts food on the table of a lot of your cohorts and other colleagues in other mediums of media. You take a winter transfer window out, you're ruining Sunday nights for most men and women in Italy that follow Calcio, because then all the shows disappear. All the guys you get your information from cease to exist. No more transfer windows. What are you going to talk about for 2 hours, Andres? Besides saying Italian players' names half the time when you're commenting on games. What are you going to say after?
Don't you guys love Sonny's design? You got the keyboard warriors, right? You got the conspiracy theories in the background, all that that's going on. We have another one. Yes. What do we got? So following Max Statman, follow these guys who didn't sleep to keep everyone updated with everything happening during the Mercato. So you know what? I'll let you explain this one.
I'm so fucking fed up of these accounts that act as if they're reporting news, because you stayed up on your phone and you copy pasted everything that everybody else said. For your 29 people that like this in 2 hours, who are you doing this for? Who are you doing? And then I have it on pretty good authority that half of these accounts are the same person. But what are you doing? Trying to we stayed up all night to write you down your Mercato. You don't think people that are on Twitter make lists and know how to search for fucking transfer news?
This is worse than wrestling Twitter. I love it.
It's just, but you're useless. And then these guys here, what's bad about them is they go and argue with people, and then they start in with body shaming and knowing all these things. Like, but what's your point in life? Twitter's supposed to be stupid and everything.
I'm so happy for my inaugural body shaming tweet that's gonna come from this account tomorrow.
Maybe.
I'll be so happy. Oh, Plumpy
anyway.
Steve there doesn't know nothing with his stupid hat, and Yann with his glasses. And Vinny has always Vinny has so many scars behind him that there's no more in Canada.
Steve, do we have, what do we have? We have another one after this. So we have Rodrigo Bentancur thread. So assessing this. So this is a thread on Bentancur. I could read it from over here, but who voted this one in, Yann? This one.
I mean, as soon as I saw Uruguayan Pirlo.
Oh.
They're Spurs fans, because they paid $28 million for this fucking Falignam in the middle of the field. Uruguayan Pirlo. Are you fucking...
Oh,
guys, can we stop here and say that the winner of Busted Calcio tweets is before everybody right now at 10:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? The first winner of Busted, because the rest don't compare. Uruguayan Pirlo. I was waiting for this because, trust me, I had Bentancur and Kulusevski this whole goddamn Fanta Calcio season. And they've caused me so much pain, especially this guy who forgot how to play soccer completely. And now this account, when I saw this one on the slide, this was automatic winner for me.
I don't think I've ever heard him being called, even when at the beginning, remember when even Milan was interested in him and Leonardo was trying to bring him on or something like that. I never heard the Uruguayan Pirlo.
Well, I mean, that's something, right? When Leonardo wants you, either you're worth 220 million or you're garbage, right? That's how he buys players, this guy. That's basically how he does it. If anybody wants to have a good laugh, go find the tweet, because the thread is hilarious. He goes through like quotes from coaches that he had when the kid was 12 years old about how he has winning mentality. It takes some time to write these things.
I cannot wait to have the Twitter world going crazy when, yes, Mbappe is going to Real Madrid on a free transfer. I can't wait to get all these people their comments and justifying all the stuff. And oh man, is there another one after this? I want to pull
I
up
think there's one more. Is there one more? Oh yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the Milan guys. On the other hand, skill aside, it is admirable how much Castillo loves Milan in the club. He doesn't get called up to some matches, yet rejects chances to leave. Might be a hot take, and it would help the club if he left. But it's nice to see real Milanisti playing for us.
He's not fucking.
I'm a glass.
For us.
I'm a glass half full kind of guy, but this guy is like 3/4 full. So he's basically saying it's a good thing that he wants to stay.
If I had their glass in front of me before Yann explains it, I would have took the glass and I would have broke it on the floor. That would have been my reaction to this. What real Milanista are we talking about here? Guys, Castillo has come in. I get we love to go
He
back.
shows the heart. He shows the heart that you got to
There's that one picture. He's holding a flag in
Yeah.
front of the church there, man. Okay, that's enough now.
Yeah.
And we're not even sure if that's the pole or another appendage.
He did Instagram his hard cock during the summer, did he not? And his boxers and all that stuff. Real Milanista.
A real Milanista. A real Milanista knows that you're holding the team back with your wages, and you can at least bring us another Serbian wonder kid. So leave. That's a real Milanista that takes a sacrifice for the team, and he leaves.
Gennaro
Gattuso.
Gattuso.
That's a real
Gennaro
Milanista.
Gattuso is the definition of real Milanist coaching Milan, and things are not going his way, and didn't even take money from them. That's someone who understands what he's played for his whole entire career and what Milan has given to him, because it's a two-way street, right, guys? Someone like Gattuso, the Shevas, the Kakas, they know and understand what Milan has given to them, and Milan gave Castillo a chance, and I'm okay with that. Several chances, but now at a certain point there, Castillo, you have to understand that. Yes, it is a business. I get you want to sit down, and I get, we interviewed him, super nice guy. Had no chance in understanding English, that's for sure. Hopefully he understands Italian now. And I admire his work ethic and the way he's a professional about it. But now, it's a couple of times we try to push you out the door, and for some reason you're blocking this for whatever reason, financial or non-financial. You're blocking it. So
I'm more like, not that I'm on Twitter very much with our account, but have we ever had like 70 likes on a post, 26 comments? So I guess he is talking to. I think I'm more like surprised that the people liking this tweet here, but. Anyways, and that's what we have. So that's what we're going to be doing from now on. Yann, the intern, you're going to be calling in from location from your camera. We're going to be taking these throughout the week. You guys, busted cultural tweets, hashtag. If you find any of them, now I'm going to have to follow 2 hashtags, or I'm going to leave the Twitter to the
the intern will look at the one of the hashtags.
Very good, and I hope you understand what kind of job you entitled, because President is going to be on you. Like, forget your government job. Your government job now comes secondary. Now you need to report to Presidente, just like Sonny. Poor guy. Sonny's like, I just want to help you guys out. Poor Sonny had no idea. But I hope you guys like this new segment. Yann, we shall see each other on Saturday's TVP. We will have the afternoon with the kids. I don't know if you bring Gianfranco or you're going to watch from home.
It's going to be very hard.
I'm going to probably do Patreon maybe 2 hours before game time. Give me enough time to get to the game. We're going to do a little pregame chat. I know Fabio likes to get riled up before the game. Anything in closing, gentlemen?
Forza Milan.
Stevie P.
We need to get out of this funk in thinking that top 4 is the main goal.
All right.
Milan needs to win Scudettos and Champions.
And you never changed your tune. That's from number 1. You want the Scudetto, and that's it. Guys, thank you very much. Up to almost 70 live viewers at one point. Yes, Gio will be drinking at the time. Gio is like, one time he was there at 3 o'clock in the morning. Fabio too was in California. There, at 3. No, I'm good. We're there. These guys are the best. Guys, ovunque e sempre.
Forza Milan!
Forza Milan!
Forza. See you next week.